Hi everyone. So in this video, we're gonna look at how to write an algorithm to multiply two matrices in Excel and VBA. Um, Here I've written the instructions. It says click clear contents, then select your first matrix uh, starting from cell A1 in matrix 1, and then do the same for matrix 2. And then click multiply matrices to get results in the matrices in the multiplication worksheet. So the results are here. Now I've already cleared the contents and added a matrix for matrix 1 and also another one for matrix 2. Um, so it's all set up. We'll run the code for that in a minute. Um, Now the code itself is here. I'm going to focus on this part here. I've commented multiply part. So this is the code I'm going to focus on. The first part of the code I actually just copied from ChatGPT. So I'm not going to go through that. I mean, you can pause the video if you want to take a look at that yourself, or you can just go to ChatGPT and they'll produce that code for you. Um, but what that does, that first part of the code, it just fills in these values here. And these are the number of rows in matrix 1 is here, the number of columns in matrix 1 here, and then the number of rows and columns for matrix 2 here and here. Um, so you can see we've got 4 rows and 6 columns. And over here, we've got 6 rows and 5 columns. So these buttons, once we run the code, we'll see values of 4, 6, 6, and 5. Now I've highlighted these two in green because for matrix multiplication, we need those to be the same. So they will be in this case because they'll both be 6. And then uh, the the multiplication matrix that is going to be outputted here is going to be 4 by 5. Um, and this value here will be the 4, and this will be the value here will be the 5. So that's how we know how many rows and columns will be in the multiplication matrix once we run our code. Um, Now, matrix multiplication, if you don't know, it's basically like a dot product. The first element uh, in row 1, column 1, so the A1 value here, it's going to be the dot product of, you can think of this as a vector, this first row here multiplied by the second matrix first column. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking 3, multiplying that by -2, and then adding the product of -7 multiplied by 1. And we keep going all the way down the first row and first column to get a result. And then we're just summing up all of those. So that's what matrix multiplication is. And then, whichever cell we want, it's going to be a 4 by 5 cell. If we wanted, say, the third row and the fifth column, this value right here, we just take the third row here and go through that process I mentioned with the fifth column here, the dot product, and that would give us the value in right here. Okay, so let's look at the code again. Uh, so this is that part. Now I've just assigned Q, A, and K to the cells 2, 1, 2, 2, and 2, 4 in the macro buttons worksheet. So this is 2, 1, this is 2, 2, and this is 2, 4. So I've just assigned those to a variable. and then running total is going to be initially set to 0. The running total, that's just going to tell us what each individual dot product is, if you will. So if we look at the code, we've got a loop here, inside another loop here, inside another loop here. But to just explain what we're doing, let's look at this innermost loop here. So it's for I equals 1 to A. It's going to take B as this value here. U, I, and J will all initially be 1. So we'll just take that first value in matrix 1, and then that'll be assigned to B. And then C will be assigned to the first value in matrix 2. And then D is multiplying them together. And then we just add the D to the running total. Then it will loop back to the next I. I will now be 2. And we'll be able to continue with the dot product, add that in all the way through until we've completed this inner loop one time. And then once we've done that, sheets in the multiplication worksheet, this will initially be 1 and 1. The value will be whatever that running total is. And then it's important to remember that we need to reset the running total before we continue, because the next dot product, we don't want it starting from what we just calculated. We want it starting from 0. So this middle loop here, next J, what that is going to do, if we have our 4 by 5 matrix here, what that is going to do is it's going to then move on to populating this value here, the 1, 2 cell, or B1 cell. And then that's what the middle loop J does. It will go down this first row until we have populated all 5 entries in this particular example. And then you can probably guess what the last entry or the last part of the code does, the outside loop. That will just go down the columns. Or actually, that will just go down this first column um, and populate all the values the in each of these rows as we go down all the way, and it's going to be 4 by 5. So it'll just go down, populate this one, then populate this one, and then populate this one. So if we go back to the code, that's this outside loop here for U equals 1 to Q, and that will populate everything. So that ends the sub. Okay, so let's just run this, and remember we should get 4665 here. Yeah, 4665. And if we go to the multiplication tab, we see the results displayed here. Okay, so I'll just do one more example before finishing this video. I'll clear the contents, and I'll just do a simple matrix here. Let's do 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this matrix here will be, I don't know, 4, 6, 5, and 7. Okay, so, well, let's just multiply it out first. So if we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we want to multiply that by 4, 6, 5, and 7, 4, 6, 5, and 7. Let's just do that here. I'll just box this away. So it's going to be this entry here is going to be this row multiplied by this column. So 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 5 is 10. So 4 plus 10, this should be 14. 1 by 6 is 6. 7 by 2 is 14. So 14 plus 6 should give us 20. Now for this one, it's going to be this and this. So 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20. So this should be 32. And finally, 3 times 6 is 18. Uh, 4 times 7 is 28. So it should be 46, I think. Okay, so when we run the code, that's the matrix we should get here: 14, 20, 32, and 46. And these are both 2 by 2 matrices. So all of these entries should be 2. So let's just run it. Yep, there's all these entries are 2. And if we go to the multiplication uh, worksheet, yeah, 14, 20, 32, and 46. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to show for this video. I hope it was helpful. And thank you very much for watching.